So today's topic is why do we need to migrate for employment? And the concept is very clear. Like we all have seen that in lockdown, many people have migrated to their houses, back to their home while leaving their uh, current situations. So we can find a great difficulty in them. We can find that there is some kind of miseries, some kind of sufferings out there. So we can discuss upon that. So we would start by each of us sharing our opinions on this topic one by one, and then we can start having a conversations by asking questions or clearing our doubts or raising our points and so on. So we can start. So who want to start first, sharing your concepts? Anyone? Suresh, you want to start?
Okay, all right. So basically, I have made a presentation. Let me see. I can showcase my presentation to you all.
All right, I will just make you host.
Yeah. So first of all, why we migrate is the biggest question for everyone that we have. Whenever, okay, can I share my screen now?
Yeah, you can share it.
Okay. Basically, why we migrate. So as a topic, itself, Abhilash has given. So my answer for this, let me start giving you one by one point. So as a person, so we migrate because of the certain things. So one, we wanted to, gain some knowledge, or sometimes we want to increase our economical growth or increase some wealth. Depending on all this, we start migrating. So if we can choose from last, few years, so our grandparents or our parents were working in a village in a land, and they're working as a farmers. And now we have came to our cities, finding a new job or finding a good colleges, and we want to settle here because we lost that mentality to go back and start working in a field. So let me add some more points and let me add some more information to this. So okay. So here is my the points that I've pointed out here. So people decide to migrate because of the combination of two factors. One is, as I mentioned, push factor induce people to move out of their present location, or pull factor, which is induce people to move into a new location. There are major three types of push and pull factors. One, the political or environmental or economical. So as I mentioned, political is nothing but, so we wanted to grow, or we wanted to, we don't like some of the people around, or we don't want to stay in some of the, locations, or we want to make change of the, location. In such cases, we keep moving to one place to other place where we find satisfied, where we find that, the required, the healthy wise or wealth wise. So if you are finding some other place, we keep moving to that locations. Uh, so I think if somebody is having any point to add this, it would be great, because uh, so there are many factors which is included in this three major types. Somebody can add on this.
Can you tell what is the advantages of all these factors types given here, like political, environmental, economic? How can we be advantage take advantage on looking into all the factors given here?
Okay. So basically, so if you can look into this, so whenever we are migrating, so why we migrate? First thing is a political, as I mentioned. So political is nothing but, for an example, so if you are surrounded by some of the people, like who keeps on troubling you, or who keeps on pointing out you, or who keeps on observing you, there are so many factors which is in the political things. When you start disturb because of all these things, you start thinking that, okay, I don't want to stay in this place. For an example, if you're staying in one of the building or apartment, or if you can find a good people around you, so what you feel is, okay, I got some good people, so I can stay here for a long time. So at the same time, if you find that this place is not for me, and I'm living in a place where people are not good to me, people start pointing out for each and everything. So this is again, it is something like a political wise. So they keeps on stressing you. So you feel that I don't want to stay here. So I want to move from this place somewhere else. It's not about the location where you're staying, but also it is about the city. If you don't find that that happiness, or if you don't find that you want to stay there for a long time, so you'll keep moving outside. And again, it comes to the environment. Being a person, myself, I don't want to I don't like to stay inside the city because of the traffic, because of there is no proper infrastructure, especially in our country. So I don't want to stay inside the city. Whenever there is a flood comes, whenever there is a there's a lot of rain, in such cases what I do is, so the flood, when it happens to flood, so all the water and other things will come inside our house, which I don't want to which I don't like to stay in such areas. And again, when it comes to the economical, of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, so my grandparents and parents were working in a field before, and now they have migrated to cities, and we constructed a house here. We are living a wealthy life here. So again, I don't think to go back to my the village and start again doing a farming. Why? Because we already adjusted to the new environment, and again, I cannot go back to the old the passionate life that my grandparents were living. I cannot go back and I can start working there. So this is all my knowledge, my idea. So the main major things, that is why we start migrating.
All right, I think that was a very wonderful presentation. I have one other doubt that why not we can make our society environment friendly so that we don't have to move anywhere. We can just enjoy the environment. We can just live with the nature around. What do you say? What do you suggest? Can't we make
Uh,
our life like that?
okay, so see, so what you're saying is, so why can't we do it in one place? But if you start doing it in one place, so are you going to get all the things in one place? For an example, if I'm living in a city, uh, I'm hungry, so I want to get my food immediately. So I don't have an energy to cook. What I do, if I'm living in a city, I start ordering online, where you don't have that option in your village, or you don't have that option outside the city, especially. So a person who wants to live, what we say, a person who wants to fulfill his needs. So we want to go to the place where I get everything in one place.
No, I was just wondering that we can make our environment we can change our infrastructure, we can plant more trees, we can make our surroundings look cool with the nature around, and we can just enjoy our work like enjoying our food meals, getting deliveries of food, or getting other services, welfare scheme, etc. We can do that, can't we? What do you suggest?
I'm not really sure. So maybe somebody else can answer to this question.
All right,
Yeah,
anyone?
I would like, yeah, like I would like to answer a talk on that. Like you said, like everything can't be made available in one particular place because we have this limited resources, and every place has its own unique feature. So, like for example, crude oil. If you want to produce in India, you can't produce. It is already geographically been present in certain places. So yeah, this lack of resources and limited use and unlimited wants create make this migration possible. So in a very like this idea, like in a very in a single place you can bring together everything that human wants is a utopian idea. Like it's it's what I think everything can't be available in one particular place.
All right. I have some other points like in foreign we have seen that people are very much enjoying their life with the nature around. So we can plan like that. But anyway, if anyone here has some other ideas to add, they can go on. Aisha, you want to add something? Okay, Rishi, you want to add something?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like you said, so what you want to say is like if we can make everything available at every place, that's what I get, right?
Not everything, like what we need around. Like Suresh has said that he want to go to the village, but he want to also pursue his life, career, passion, which is available in city
Okay.
only. So we can combine the
Yeah.
both the features of village and cities at a place, and we can make our environment like that, so that we can enjoy
Okay.
both the things together.
So the thing is, for that thing, if you want a theme like or a feeling like village, we can shift to a little outer areas of city, but shifting to a village won't be that good because the thing is the villages won't ever have the luxury of too many companies or the high speed internet connections or the food delivery apps like that. Because the thing is these apps and companies, these are investing their money where the public is. And if you checked or if you have ever advertised some product on Facebook or Instagram, you'll know that people from specific metro areas like might be Pune, Delhi, Mumbai, then Hyderabad, Bangalore. These are only the people that would actually respond to some ad and buy some product. But if you go out to the uh, village people are like more like limited to their resources. They won't accept any third resources coming from outside. So what happens is people like these companies and people would have to invest billions of dollars and they just might not get anything out of it. So after that risk, nobody is ready to shift their plants and things where they have already settled in big cities. So it's better for humans to shift where the plant is or where the work opportunities are and work there. So once you are financially stable, you can always go back to your village and you have no issues.
All right, then coming back to the issue of migration, like even the villagers people, if they are finding good salary job, then they are moving to cities and they are seeking that kind of life, like higher standard of living, like the city people are enjoying. So if they are moving out there and they are making their migration to another states or another countries for the job purpose, and they are also seeking all the features like the high standards of living, the hi-fi life, then why we are thinking that the villagers does not have the mentality for growth and development? Why are we feeling like that? Do you have any idea on this?
So it's not like they don't have any mindset of growth. So like it's about where the industrialization started. So if you compare between let's say Pune and Mumbai, okay, so both are kind of metro cities. But if you go out and check Mumbai, there are multiple MNCs and like big companies are there. So logically, Mumbai makes more sense if you are just starting out. So you have multiple number of opportunities there, and people from different villages that are not really comfortable to metro life, they come to Pune. So that's the thing. The thing started somewhere in the past and they went good. That's why the companies and all the people who provide resources invested where it was already growing. So we can shift it if we want to, but it will cost everyone a lot of money in return of a very less money. That's what I feel.
Okay. So Apart from the financial needs, can we add some more points on this? Like for migration, people are migrating to other places for the financial reasons. Are there any other issues for which they are migrating to other locations? Can anyone have some
Yeah,
point?
like
Because I feel there
uh,
is most of the reasons. Like yeah, yes, yes,
yeah, I
Altaf.
would like to add on a point. Like currently, what we are seeing in Afghanistan, people are migrating, and few years back, what we saw in Syria, like people are migrating from Syria to Europe. Apart from this financial needs, this safety, a sense of safety and security arises within a people. Like they want to live in a safe environment without any tension. So they used to migrate to some other places with where they have much better like chances of living. For example, if you look at current situation in Myanmar, the Rohingyas migrated to Bangladesh, and from there they migrated to India. So apart from like this normal migration, is this can be classified into a forced migration where people
Hey,
actually don't want to migrate from their
not
homeland, but
keeping mouse.
because of certain political conditions, they are forced to move out of their homeland. So yeah, apart from this financial situation, I think this war is also a major factors which leads to migration of people.
There are also certain points where I can add it to
Okay,
this.
yeah.
So if you can look at this, the presentation. So here it shows that, so why we start migrating. So as I was mentioning before, so it is because of the environmental migration. So it is again the factors of which, sometimes it is because of the floods, because of, droughts. And if we don't find enough, earnings, so we start migrating. Similar to that, I just have, a few more presentations here. So currently there are so many refuges, as, Altaf was pointing out some points. So similar to that, I would like to add some more points. So there are so many refugees from the different part of the world. Some of the time, so they don't find, they find difficulties in staying their places. They wanted to earn money, or because of the financial issues, or it's because of doesn't want to live in that particular place. They wanted to move somewhere, so where they find happiness, or they find they can earn more money because of all this reason, or they want to get more knowledge. If you can look at in your surrounding, so there are people so who wants to, even though we have good colleges, like we also have a good university like IAM, so we have a university like Christ University. There are a lot of universities in our country, but still we wanted to move out from our country, and we want to pursue our masters, or we want to pursue some, the degrees from the different part of the world. We, even though we got so many good institutions and people are coming from different part of the world to study in IM. So if you know well, even in such cases, see, it is all because depends on the mindset and depends on what we wanted to do or where we wanted to do. So if you are there in India, so you can, here also you can earn, but not, it might not satisfy your the earnings. And again, so if you can look at this map, there are so many people. We keep on, the people who keep migrating from one place to the other place. So it will give you the clear information that from which part of the world people move from where to where. So the last Bose and Sudans, they timely being, so they started moving to the different part of the world because of maybe they did not have a proper healthy food, or they did not got the earnings that they are looking out for all these reasons. So even if I am there in the place, so I do the same thing where I get a food, where I get more earnings. So I start moving to that place. Or if you can see in 2020, there are people who are came to a different part of the city, like India, sorry, like Bangalore, like Mumbai, from the different part of the states. They came here to earn, and when the corona came, so people started going back to their villages. So it is all because of they wanted to live a livelihood in a better, with a better options.
Yeah, that was a very good example, but I think that's a kind of forced migration where people are not moving voluntary. They have been forced to do their work because they don't have any other choice.
See,
What do you have to say on
migration,
that?
it is, see, migration is always, it's because of the, forcefully we have to do it. Migration is nothing but we intentionally we are not going there. It is all because of our own satisfactory factors that we wanted to move from one place to another place. So if you are a person, so if you are working in one of the Indian company and if you find a job somewhere outside, definitely you will opt to go for that outside country. Why? Because so you wanted to earn and you want to explore new things and you want to gain some knowledge from the different part of the world, and also you wanted to visit that place and you want to live that in that particular place with many reasons. So it is all because of the forceful factors that make you to move from one place to the other place.
Okay, I think that for migration, there is two types of migration. One is voluntary and other is non-voluntary. So the what Suresh is telling is, I feel, is involuntary kind of migration. Anyone can suggest any idea on the voluntary kind of migration for the travel purpose or for
Yeah,
passion?
like I would
Yeah.
like to, yeah. So like, in that we have this technical term, like I think Suresh sir have that in the slide, like it's pull factor, like what attracts us, what attracts the place which has that attraction. Like sir said, like if you get an opportunity to study abroad, we will definitely go and study abroad. So like it's a pull factor, like that country, like Europe or US is attracting us. So it's a pull factor. So apart from this post migration, yeah, there is a chance like people themselves want to migrate. So yeah, there is this chance like people themselves want to migrate, and it's actually, I think we don't consider like migration is bad, because this human race has survived because of this migration. Uh, from when we see like initial humans, they migrated from Africa to another parts of the world. So because of that, human race is the most prominent in the this animal kingdom. So yeah, migration has helped us for our survival and existence. And yeah, I think people should migrate if yeah they are getting some better opportunities. So I don't think like there is something bad uh, about migration unless it is being forced upon you.
Okay, Aisha, you want to say something on this? You have been quiet for so long.
Yeah, hello, how is everyone?
Yes. Hello. Hello, Aisha.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. You can carry on with your
Yes, Aisha,
concept.
you are audible.
Yeah.
Okay. So today's topic was what are the reasons for economic migration, right? So, a few points I have just, come up with, so I'm going to share those. So, the thing is, there can be several factors for migration, as has been already communicated by others, like political disturbance, conflict, human rights violation, discrimination, persecution, and then other environmental factors, and lack of resources, proper infrastructure, and lack of proper institutions. But when we come to economic factors, I think the major driving force or the factor is the difference in wages. What happens is that when with this with the same educational qualification, migrating to a wealthier or higher income country that has superior infrastructure and institutions leads to a substantial wage gain. So I think that is why people migrate. Now the next reason can be a suitable job which is corresponding to the skill that one has. So maybe in the domestic country, in the domestic market, there can be underpayment or lack of suitable jobs. And that can be a pushing factor for a migrant to relocate to a different place. And I think the third reason is uh, for a person to migrate is remittance. What happens is that when one goes outside, remittance is actually the amount of money or the fund that is transferred by a migrant worker to their home country, to their home, to their family. And India is the first among the top 10 remittance recipients in 2018. So basically what happens is that a successful migrant worker what they do is they use their new capital that they have gained in a foreign country to provide for basically what happens is that a successful migrant who is outside working outside, what they do is they use their new capital to provide for better schooling for their children and better homes for their families back home. So this way what happens is that successful high skilled migrants may serve as an example for the people in their domestic country, and in this way people may uh, okay, so in this way, this may actually inspire people who are living as neighbors to, follow in the footsteps of the person who is a migrant and working outside. So these are few factors, and I think the lesser important factors can be lesser important factors are highly skilled people who are looking for highly specialized jobs which are not available in their home regions. Because of that, people may migrate to developed countries from developing countries. So here we can see there is this there is this gap between education system and job market. This many a times happens in developing countries like India. So people migrate to better countries where there are better job opportunities. And then and the final reason we can say is obviously standard of living gets much better in a developed country to which you migrate, because because of better political system and better infrastructure and maybe social environment and institutions. So I think these are a few according to me, these are a few factors for migration.
That was a very nice concept regarding migration. I think the topmost concepts of migrations like environmental factors, political, economic, that is the topmost concept for which people are looking when they are migrating, leaving their family behind. So I want to understand what is the psychology will go around the people when they are like separating from their family. It's like a very difficult situation for people to move to some other places, leaving their home country or hometown. What do you say on this? Are you getting my point? What I am trying to tell you?
You're asking me?
Yeah, anyone can.
Oh, anyone can. I think
Anyone
obvious
can respond on that.
Yeah.
Yes, carry on. Yeah, you carry on.
Okay. According to me, the psychological factors can be a lot many factors. Ultimately, the person must be dissatisfied in their with their surroundings and the place that they are in. So maybe that's why they want an upgradation in their overall living. Which can, and when I say overall living, it can be political factors, it can be social factors, it can be educational, it can be economic. So many these things can form the so
Okay. Anyone want to add more on the psychological factor, the psyche of a person? Yes.
I would like to add, like, when we study this migration, the first concept we study is about this cultural shock that a person faces when he travels from his home country or town to another place. So this cultural shock, sometimes it's very hard for a person to absorb that. Like from a small town, person is going to a very metro city. So initially, that person would be having a very much problem to adjust it. So like one real life example could be what I said earlier regarding to Syria. Like when the people from Syria started migrating to European countries, so like the standard of living and how people dress is very different. So because of this migration, certain section of people were facing trouble from this migrants as they were trying to harass people on the way they were dressing. So yeah, initially a cultural shock happens to a person, but at a later point of stage, when the person accepts that culture, he or she will definitely will merge into that culture. So For example, US. So it has this melting pot approach where all culture, it has this assimilation of whole culture, and every people from different parts of the world come and assimilate, and they follow this what we call as an American culture. Yeah, that's what I would like to say.
But okay,
Yes.
that was absolutely right. But I think that is the effect of
Yeah,
migration instead of
Aisha.
being the cause of migration, right?
No, I was telling about what this psychological aspect of a migration could have. Like initially, a
Okay.
person may face this cultural shock, like
Mm-hmm.
when he goes to a new place, he or she goes to a new place. So he or she might not be able to adjust. It's like same way we change our jobs. Like
Mm-hmm.
initially, we would definitely feel uncomfortable with the new job, and yeah, eventually we will be part of it. So yeah, that's what I think about this psychological aspect of migration.
Even
Okay.
people face racial discrimination,
Just
linguistic problems,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
language
Nasin. So
issues. Yeah, Bharat. Yeah.
just to give you information, I'll just give you my example. So when I got an opportunity to fly outside the country, it was very difficult initially. So I was very happy when I got an opportunity where I have to move from India to Germany. So I'm the only person which I got an opportunity to move from my family. So I felt very happy that I'm getting an opportunity to go and work in some other country. But later, when I get into the flight, I started realizing that okay, that is completely new to me, and I have no idea. So how the people are, what is the culture, so how they behave, how they treat me. Why? Because so I'm in a family, with my dad and mom. I never been outside the city, and I never been outside my house for a long time. So when I started stepping out, I all of a sudden it is completely new to me. So even when I entered to that particular country, I took almost 6 months to settle down there and get in start getting interacting with the people and start understanding the people because it's everything new to me. It's not what I've seen from the long so long time. And when I started going out to my office, I started finding criticism. I started people doing a discrimination. I started finding people uh, sharing some the bad informations about Indians, and I started finding so many things. I've come up with so many hurdles there, and people have started pointing out for each and every small mistake. This will happen in the initial stage. Once you get into that particular zone, the comfort zone, so all will go suddenly will disappear, and you will start concentrating on the work that what you have come for. And end of the day, it matters is I got some opportunity, and I want to earn some money, and I want to secure my family, and I want to give a bread and butter to my family. So it's all matters only because I wanted to earn some money. So we never think why we migrate. We only think that what is the purpose of migration? So why I'm migrating? It is just to survive. It is just to keep my family in a safe and secure, and just to make some money and come back to our country. But it all changed after a certain point of time. Why? Because when you settle in some country, you start feeling that okay, you start actually you start differentiating your country. So why it is not there? So if I go back, so how again I cannot adjust to my country again, because so there the system is different and here the system is different. So when you start finding this differentiation, so you never like to come back again. So this is all my experience why we start migrating from one place to the other place.
Okay, I understood that according to Bharat, he mean that for the cause of migration, we gain self-esteem, self-respect, but we also lose our cultural values, our comfort zone, our understanding of the situations, and we have to create a totally new environment around us, new atmosphere for our comfort zone, for our understanding, for accommodating in a new place, in a new environments. I feel so that he's saying about the comfort zone, and he is also talking about the self-esteem, self-values. Uh, understanding of the cultures around, and accepting others' values, and plus also forgetting your own values, because when you are uh, shifting to some other countries or some other region, then you have to accept what others are doing. You can't say that what they are doing I can't do that, or like that. Like if you are traveling to some countries who don't have, who mostly depend on the seafoods, then I think it would be very difficult for you to survive there, because you have to depend on their culture, on their food system, but you can't do anything about that. Anyone has any experience like this, shifting to other countries where the food, you are not getting what you are actually
Especially
expecting out there?
I can put some point to this. Especially when I've been to Dubai, it is totally different. If somebody have been to Dubai, so mostly you have aware of this, and this, people eat more meat than the vegetarian foods. When I started getting adjusted to that particular people, because uh, around me, I mean, surrounded my people from from different part of India, and some of them from different part of the world, and almost all everyone were eating uh, you know uh, the meat, and I was the only person who was not eating, especially on Saturdays. It was very difficult to adjust for that environment, but still they keep on, they adjusted for me, and they started cooking only the vegetarian foods on Saturday, especially for me. It was an experience that I had, and I have come across with it.
I think
Yeah,
that
I
was a
would
very good.
also.
Yes,
Hmm.
Altaf.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
would like I also had this normal experience like when we went on a college trip. So basically from Kerala, when the staple food is rice, uh, from the morning till evening you have something made up of rice. So when we went to northern parts of India, like in Punjab, Delhi, so it's the rice changes to wheat. You get food items based on wheat. So my friends were facing very much difficulty, even for like it was just 10 days, but like they were facing very much difficulty in adjusting to the food habits of the North Indian people. So yeah, like I would just like to add with Suresh, like yeah, eating habits also plays an important role when you migrate from one place to another.
And this
Apart from
experience,
the
this ex-
eating habits,
and also, just to put one more point, most of the time, if you go to any European countries or states, you will find very less rice. So whenever you go to any restaurant, mostly you will find only meat or bun. So this is all the food they mostly eat, prefer. And being an Indian, being a South Indian especially, so we always look into something that we want rice, or we want something like a ragi, but we don't find usually there. So it is not easy to find such items there. So it was quite difficult to survive in such places, at least to get adjusted for a few days.
yeah, that's I think that's everybody has to make some kind of adjustments there when they are migrating to some other regions. So here we have Ranjit and Lokesh. Would you want to add something? And Abhilash, would you want to add something on your cultural change or food habits or living styles you might have experienced when moving to some other regions for job, for employment, or for like family shifting or other things? Nobody?
No,
Okay,
actually, right
Aisha.
now only I
Yeah.
joined, so
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, no issue. No issue. Aisha,
Just
I want to
Ranjit,
understand.
just share your
Hmm.
experience. You are there in Dubai, right? So what all the hurdles that you started facing when you are there in Dubai, or when you
Yeah, you
started
can share your experiences.
when you went to Dubai? So why you went to Dubai, and what is the the hurdles that you started facing? What are the problems initially that you started facing?
in Dubai, I didn't face much problems, but when I was in Saudi, language was a big problem because the Saudi peoples only know this Arabic, so it was very hard to communicate with them.
Okay.
Aisha, you talked about the social social and political factors. You're listening to me. Are you there,
Uh-huh.
Aisha?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you were talking about the social and political impacts. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to understand basically the points of the welfare scheme which the government allot. Like if a person is shifting from one city to other city, then he will mostly lose the government schemes like state schemes provided.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to say on that? Because it's, I think it's a disadvantage of moving out there because you are losing the welfare schemes, the government schemes, which has been provided for your well-being.
Okay. Um,
It's a kind of
um, mhm.
disadvantage. But of course, you are getting many advantages of moving to other cities, but you are losing
Mhm.
something out there. Like you are like the
Mhm.
Aadhaar schemes. We have most of the Aadhaar schemes, the LPG schemes, or
Mhm.
housing schemes when we are in our own country. But when we are moving to some other countries, we are just uh, getting ourselves
Mhm.
neglected with all these schemes
I
because we are no
think
longer.
I think
Yes.
ultimately a proper job with a fixed salary is better than, living your life on schemes. So any day anybody would opt for a job in a foreign country than living a life or, sustaining a family on LPG schemes and schemes of that sort.
Yeah, that's, I
I
think,
would like to
yes.
I would like to
Uh,
add on that point. Like, yeah, like everybody doesn't get a good job to migrate. So, like when we look at the current situation in India, what we see is like a lot of migrant laborers from different parts, especially from UP, Bihar, and Orissa, are migrating to other places. So, just like what you said, they are losing their this government opportunity. Though, so basically, what we look at is right now is the fundamental right of getting proper access to nutritious food. So for that, I think government is trying to bring in this scheme called One Nation, One Ration Card. So like even if a migrant laborer is from Bihar or UP, he is coming to going to any other place like Punjab. So like he could avail that basic necessity of food from this particular government scheme. And apart from that, they on the wake of this COVID migration, many state governments have also created some schemes for this migrant laborers who are migrating from certain places. Like for in UP, they are providing this cash assistance to the families of migrants who are migrating to other states. So in a way, government is also has also come to a sense, and they are also, I mean, promoting migration. So in a way, they are also government is also providing certain benefits for the poor people who are migrating to other places.
all right. I think we have discussed most of the points on personal and collective kind of migration. In personal, we have discussed the physical, the environment, the psychological, and in collective, we have discussed the social, cultural, and financial, political things regarding this factor of migration. Now, I have to share with you one most important aspect of our life, the existential. The Suresh was talking about the purpose of our living. So I have to add one concept on that, very new concept which is going trend in YouTube and other social medias. I will be talking on that. Sorry. So I would be sharing screen, and I want all of you to open your this speaker so that you can add more points as I speak on these features because it's a very interesting topic, and I think most of you will enjoy talking on this topic. So I want all of you to unmute yourself, or you can on. I will share screen, so it's not required to open your videos, but you can unmute yourself. So I will just start sharing my screen. So living in home car, a dream or future? Have any one
Okay,
has
okay.
ever imagined our life like this, living in a home car? You might have watched on YouTube people living in their
Hmm.
vehicles, moving around, enjoying the
Yeah.
environment, having their
It
own
could be.
responsibilities.
If you know well know about if you are using a Bluetooth, so if you
Mm-hmm,
well know about a person, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He is the owner of
mm-hmm,
the the Bluetooth founder,
mm-hmm,
and this person, they started living in a the carriage for almost 7 to 8 years. They traveled worldwide, and both the couples, husband and wife, so they're living in a Caribbean van, and they started traveling from different part of the world.
Yeah,
that I think that's
actually,
a yes.
living on wheels has been on trend since the past. Like, a car is a very recent concept. Like, before car, there were bullock carts and other animal transport. So people used to live in that. Like, when we look in Europe, there was a community called Gypsies who used to live like that. And even in India, there are Banjaras. They also used to live like that. So yeah, I think it will be a future like living on wheels.
Like that's a coming back of the nomadic cultures, which our ancestors mostly had in our past. So it's like a coming back of
Yeah,
this culture again, the nomadic life.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's like people now it has been converted into passion. Like usually people who have enough resources are doing this. Earlier it was not the case. Right? The scenario has changed, I guess.
Yeah, the scenario has changed and people's lifestyle has changed. They want to enjoy the
Yeah,
weather,
yeah,
they
yeah.
want to enjoy their life,
Yes,
they want to move around, interact with different kinds of people. They don't want society, the community kind of living which we are
yes,
having right now. They want to
yeah.
adjust in different kind of situations, different kind of conditions. So the society, concepts of society will be gone forever if we will be having such kind of future. What do you have to say on this? Because we
No,
can feel home, like home is it could be anywhere, it could be anytime. It does not mostly require that we will be having a proper infrastructure, our favorite kind of
So
people around.
there are so many people who would like to live, in such a way, but as Altaf mentioned, so because of economical issues, or because of the health, wealth issues, when they don't have a money, so they wanted to go, but still they stop themselves. But if they get an opportunity, definitely everyone are very happy to do such experience in the life. And I have seen live example. I've seen two, three people. If you have heard about one of the guy who traveled from Tamil Nadu till London on his three wheeler, which he installed only the solar panel on his three wheeler, and without fuel, he has traveled from India, Tamil Nadu till London. He has taken about uh, I think 6 months or 7 months to travel from Tamil Nadu till London.
Yeah,
So
I
obviously
feel
it
that
is.
it is not so expensive, going out with your own vehicle, with your own home, on your vehicle, on your wheels. I don't think it's so expensive, rather than the infrastructural built, the architectural build we are having now.
It is. You see, you can choose it as an experience, but you cannot choose that as a life. Why? Because end of the day, you want to settle some other place. Even though, as I mentioned in the beginning, he is the owner of the the Bluetooth company, but still, after traveling to 6 to 7 years, he went back to his hometown and he settled back there. So it is all experience. So you cannot think that you can stay for a lifetime.
yeah. Like,
I want to just quote Dalai Lama on the statements of living, which is written over screen. So he says that, quote, if one's life is simple, contentment has to come. Simplicity is extremely important for happiness. Having few desires, feeling satisfied with what you have is very vital. Satisfaction with just enough food, clothing, and shelter to protect yourself from the elements. So the unquote. So the Dalai Lama is speaking about the satisfaction with just enough food, the clothing, and the limited materials and shelter. So why don't you think that it's sufficient for us rather than the permanent settlement in some areas, some countries? Why do you think so? I think I like to know that
May
what's
I?
going on in your mind. Why are you thinking that we have to properly settle in a place when we can have all the things like proper food, living conditions, and shelters, when we are having such kind of life, when we are experiencing other cultures, other nature, and everything around?
I would like to add a
May I?
point. Like,
Yes, yes.
uh,
Okay.
you,
Yes, please.
Yeah,
okay,
please.
sir. Thank you, sir. So humans have evolved so much and have become intelligent because they had a settled form of life. Because when we look at the human history, when they were pastoral beings or roaming from one place to another, we were no less than animals. So what happened, like with the discovery of agriculture and settled life, human brain has been developed and they have been evolved into this intelligent being. So I think for this development of human being, a settled life is necessary.
Okay, what others have to say on the concept of settled life? What we have given the
Okay.
concept like settled life?
So I would like to add something.
Yes,
So,
yes.
like you said, we could be living on wheels, but the thing is, there are so many things that we can't do on wheels. Let's say if you are living on wheels at some place, so we in India or maybe in most of the countries, we don't have that luxury that we have in Europe or American countries that you can just go anywhere outside and just park your car and you can stay there. So here there are many things. So even if you take your car to a village, you will notice everyone just keeps on staring at you and they will just keep on asking you, why are you here? Why are you staying in our village? And things like that. And even after that, the thing is, the quote that you said applies if you have ample amount of resources around you. But the thing is, we don't have ample amount of resources everywhere we go, and the only thing that can get us resources is money, and we have to have a bank account somewhere and then our legal documents somewhere. So logically, if we are living on wheels and we don't have any specific place to stay, then it would be very difficult for us to work somewhere or to have some bank account somewhere or to have some legal documentation somewhere. If you have your legal documentation in, let's say, UPA, and you've been living on the car and you are traveling everywhere. So if there's some government welfare scheme like this vaccination drive, if your local leader is providing a vaccination, that's for free, and here it in metro cities it's paid. So as you are not in your city, you don't have that luxury. You'll have to pay for it extra. And there are other things as well, like if you have your kids, they won't be able to study at a specific school if you just keep on migrating and migrating and migrating. So they won't have a proper environment where they will be able to study good values with set amount of people to build a good mindset that's pretty much necessary for them. So looking at the aspect of it, it looks good as a trend. We can go for it. We can do it for a month or so and just come back to where we were living, or like a year or more than a little bit, like let's say a couple of years, but not more than that because it won't be that good. So for a change, we can opt for that. We can stay on these for a year or a year and two, and then eventually we'll have to settle down somewhere because we can't just keep roaming around till we die.
Okay, so you mentioned about the territory issue, which we Indians could mostly face when we are moving like that, and the security issues, and you have also mentioned about the education system. So now we have seen that the education is all online. So do you think, yeah, anybody would can add on this, that if education will totally be online? Yeah, of course, that's a totally complete different topic. Just a single point will do about like online education and traveling and learning with nature. Isn't it a good idea?
No.
No,
Yes.
why not?
It's totally collapsed in online education for children, right?
Like how?
How means, how can I tell?
Okay,
Uh,
just to add the point with Lokesh. So
yes,
if I'm if I'm studying, just to give an example from last 2 years, our students are inside home and they started learning from their phones. But if you look at if you look into that properly, so they never look into the the teacher what they're teaching, but instead they keep playing the games. They do something else with the
yes,
online classes. They
yeah,
will not concentrate on one thing. They will not concentrate on the teacher what they're teaching. When it comes to the traveling and learning, so how can we even imagine, because you will not find the network everywhere. So even though we are a developing country, we don't find the network everywhere in India, even in some cities. So if you go to some particular city, there are no proper network. You cannot connect to your internet, and it is highly impossible when you're traveling and connecting with the teachers and learning from online. It is
yes,
totally
bro.
different. And second point is, if you keep learning online, there are so many things which has to be done practically. So the practical things has to be done practically. For an example, if you are a student, like a science student, and if somebody wants to make you understand related to something physically, physics or a chemistry laboratory, so it
Yes,
is highly impossible to do it online, because
yes,
he wants to understand, he wants to smell the chemicals, he wants to interact with the teacher related to the chemical, which chemical has to be used, what is the color, so what has to be done with this, so why we should not use, or what all the things that we can do with these chemicals. Similar to that, if it comes to physics, if you come to any other biology, so similar things that will happen. So
All right, the practicality will be missed. Like the practical concepts in education, we will miss it. The theoretical will become strong, which we don't want, and the practicality will be left behind.
just to
Right?
give you a clear example, so we as in humans, we love to understand practically more than theoretical.
Yeah.
So if you go to any foreign countries, they first thing they teach in a practical way, not the theoretical way.
Yes. True.
So that is how the teaching. I mean, that is how the schooling should be. It should not be a theoretically always. And when it comes to the second point, if I'm going to a school, if I'm going to, if I'm there in the school, so I'll find enough, people, and I mean, my friends, I keep learning something different from them. I start, extracting information from them. I start
Mhm.
adopting new things from them, and I start physical activities will be there, and there are so many things which is involved in the physical schooling than online schooling. So we cannot compare when it comes to the education. Online exam, I mean, on the online schooling, it is not good for me, if you ask me.
Not only
All
for
right.
you, all the students for this situations.
Yeah, like I would also
My
like to add
example
one.
is my sister. For example, my
Mhm.
sister, because she is studying chemistry, so she's missing lab classes continuously. She's missing because of colleges not opening.
And if you look
So
at this particular scenario,
yes,
so after after you passed out from your degree, or after passing out from your schooling,
yes, yes,
people will start pointing out saying that he is from online class. Even if you can just imagine,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah,
have done your correspondence examination, and if you're going to some company that you wanted to attend an interview, first thing they will point out, first thing they will come up saying that, okay, you have done with your correspondence, so why not the physical schooling? That means you have no idea. Even though if you have an idea, so they come up saying the answer, you don't have an idea about this particular job. So there are
Yeah,
so
okay,
many things
so
which will happen.
online talk is discussion. I mean, online education is other vast topic. So I would be pointing on the advantages, and like we are mostly talking about disadvantages. So it's about our free will, the free choice, our individual choices are highlighted. Our living conditions we can improve as we move on our journey around. Our existential motivation to travel is reached. Our self-esteem turns high, and we find meaning of life. We find meaning in nature. We discover ourselves, who we are, what we want to do in our life, and there is no possessiveness. We don't acquire anything. Everyone is free. Even animals are free to move around, roam around. Humans will also be free. And again, there comes the disadvantages, like people says that there will be no welfare scheme applicable, and there would be the lack of security, healthcare emergency, like when we have any healthcare issues or emergency issues, then the services are not available on time, and so people can face a real problem by shifting their houses back to back. And when there is no geographical locations, then it's difficult to find if there is some cost. So I think that's the kind of advantages and disadvantages on the tiny house or living on wheels. Do you want to add anything on that regarding any advantages or disadvantages, so that we can find a proper balance in this concept? No? I believe that existential cause of living is to find happiness, which you find when you seek more around, and you develop the capacity to enjoy more, and to find yourself more, and leaving behind the materialistic life, and getting connected to the natural things around, the spirituality within. So this is my concept regarding the existential understanding of living. So here is one quote which I can't able to yeah, 1 minute. Huh? It's a quote from Socrates, the father of Western philosophy. So he says, quote, "The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less." So there is the kind of he's saying about the secret of happiness which we uh, get in our life. And the other quote by the founder of Taoism, Lao Tzu, he says that be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. So this is some of the advantages of living in tiny houses or living on wheels. But of course, there are many disadvantages. We have to look through it. So these are some of the pictures I've taken from the internet, how people are living in the small vehicles. If people are having no idea about like what vehicles they are using or how they are making their houses, they can check, of course, on YouTube videos. So here are some photos in which they have beautifully decorated their houses, small tiny houses, and they are living back to back, different countries, different cities. They are enjoying the cultures, the food, the lifestyles, and different kind of conditions. So it's a kind of the great escape. So I would just end this screen. All right. Yeah. So I think you all enjoyed this small concept on the tiny wheels. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Anyone want to add something
Uh,
on this concept? Aisha?
Yeah, I think what you said I think it has value, because ultimately, what we live is one kind of life. When we settle with a family and we try to increase our wealth and attain materialistic possessions. But what you said, that alternative form of living on wheels, I think it has positive aspects to it. That way we can, distant ourselves from material possessions and kind of explore our spiritual side. As you were saying, we can, uh, think less about possessions and be close to nature, and all of that. I think that is very much required as a human being, to evolve. So I think as an alternative form of living, and if we can afford it, I think we can go for it. And it's not necessary for every person or every couple to settle down and make a family. That way of living is even, I think, uh, can be good in different ways. So it's a choice that you have to make, obviously. But I think it has, family life has its benefits, and living on wheels has its benefits. So yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, okay. That was a very good point. So people here, you can conclude with your points and then we can, yeah, Ranjit, you want to say something? Amit,
No,
Amit, I think you have recently joined and you haven't said anything. So
I
do you
was
want
just,
to add something on this?
yeah, I was just hearing the whole conversation, and so I feel that it's important to experience different kind of life, either on the wheels or settled. Depends from person to person, and it's definitely a learning experience. Definitely.
Yeah, of course, that's a very kind of learning experience we have to achieve in our life, because people are like they will achieve everything. They will achieve the luxury kind of living. They will achieve lots of money. They will have good qualification, good education, good food, good lifestyle, but still they feel empty inside them. So they are not able to find the inner core, the inner purpose of their living. And when they are connected to the nature, like Suresh has mentioned in the beginning that he wants to live in the village, but he can't because he have to move to the city to find a better job. But if he is able to move like that, like doing work or also finding his passion and the meaning of life, then I think his life would be perfect, or anybody's life would be perfect, or would be having a less kind of problems in the living conditions. And of course, I think all these things have lots of problems because we are all developing countries, and so we can't expect such kind of hi-fi thinking. But yeah, we can think on that and we can start working on that. So with this, Bharat, you want to add something new to this idea, or what we have discussed till now, the migration and its effect?
I just want to add one point. So, of course, as you have lastly mentioned, uh, so Live on Wheel, it is a new experience. So, I'm actually waiting for it. So, I wanted to, at least have an experience of this. So, I'm just, thinking about that.
Okay, that was your personal experience. And coming to the topic again, the why do we need to migrate for employment? So I think most of the topic is very much clear today. It was a lovely discussion with lots of topic coming our way about the social aspects. Aisha has added about the social aspect, the political, the economic, and Suresh has talked about the uh, difficulties which we face when we move to other countries, like food, the lifestyle, the culture. And Altaf has also added about the culture thing, the cultural issues which we face. That he says that in the starting point, he was not facing so much. He was facing so much issues, but slowly he get adjusted to his environments. And he was also talking about the culture he has accumulated, and how easily he adjusted to the situation. So of course it depends from person to person how you're coming up in a situation. And Amit also talked at concluding point, he talked about something like living on wheels is a good concept, and yeah, people want to experience it. So Rishi also added some points on, we have discussed on the points of the wages, the higher wages, which make people to move around, to migrate. And I think everybody has made some very good point on this issues. And I think it was a very wonderful discussion. So I would like to thank everyone for joining this discussion and making it a wonderful and memorable session. So I hope you liked all these discussions and you will continue joining us every week so that we can come out with our new different topics and we can explore the things around. The exploration of the unexplored is the motivation behind all these things. So we don't really want to search on internet or find things around. We just want to explore ourselves what is all these things. So it is the motivation of this discussion. I hope you enjoyed. So now with this, I will just close the session. If anyone want to add the last point, you are most welcome. You can
Can you
add.
please switch on your camera so that everyone
Yeah,
can see
people can
your...
switch on their cameras.
Yep.
So because, yeah. You can switch on your camera. You can unmute yourself, everyone, and you can start sharing the concluding points so that we can have a good ending of this whole session.
Rishi, Amit, and Ravi, can you switch on your camera for a minute, please?
It's fine if you have any issues, but you can unmute yourself and just tell that, give your little bit feedback on all these things we are doing.
It was a wonderful session, and we got a lot of information from everyone.
Sir, I wanted to ask, like, do we have this in Clubhouse meetings or just in Zoom meetings?
For now, we have in Zoom because it's a pandemic time, and if all this thing is over, we will very well try to have a cafe discussions, a cafe conferences.
No. Not cafe, like Clubhouse. It's like new app.
It's a new app.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much better for like this type of
all right.
discussion.
I will check. Thanks for your suggestion. I will check. I don't have any idea of the Clubhouse. I was thinking of the physical thing. I don't have any idea of the Clubhouse.
It's a very good app. Like,
all right.
It's an open forum. Like, new people could automatically add.
Okay. That's a good suggestion. We will work on that.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. So with this, I think everyone has done with their what they have to say. So we can formally end this meeting. Thank you everyone for joining us once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Have a good time.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good time.
Everybody.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.